The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular, dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rule. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
You got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, and that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the October 28th edition of One Nation Radio. I'm your host, Rich Latta, as always, here with my homeboy, James Boyd. James, what's going on, man?
Not too much. Just ready to go. Ready to talk about Evolution.
Yeah, man. So we've got I want to say there's 7 matches on the card, maybe 8. Yeah. I know they've had this long-ass live stream going on that I did not watch. Yesterday, it was like 7 hours long. But they've cut up some of the stuff into like little YouTube videos. So there was an interview with Sasha Banks, Trish Stratus, and Toni Storm. That was pretty interesting. There was also one with Nikki Bella, Charlotte, and Shayna Baszler. Did you get a chance to catch any of those, James?
Unfortunately, no. So was it like a panel type of setting or whatever, or they're like just all together talking, or is it more like basically it's them together and they're all getting interviewed, basically having to answer the same questions? It was like a panel type thing where Kathy Kelly would lob a question and go to them 3, and they just kind of go back and forth. Okay, I might have to go check that out and then go back. Yeah, pretty interesting. But yeah, man, tonight is Evolution. I have changed my mind, James. I'm going to watch the show rather than go to Evolve. I just got to stop being a bitch about how they did Sasha Banks, because it's like, well, what great wrestler don't they fuck over at some point? That's a really good point. Actually, how about this? You can take away the great wrestler part. What wrestlers don't they screw over eventually in this company? Yeah. So yeah, you can say what you want to. I was assuming you were going to go get around to watching Evolution eventually anyway. But the thing is, it's a live show in Tampa, so it's like, that's always a conundrum type thing. Like, it's almost similar to when we were in New Orleans this year, and it was like, all right, so Saturday night, like, are we going to go to Supercard of Honor, or are we going to go to NXT? We chose Supercard of Honor, and then we woke up the next day and went and watched NXT. So that's kind of the way I thought you were handling that. That's really what I thought. I didn't think it was a situation where you were just so upset about the Sasha thing. You just can't bear to see the thought of her not being in a top match at the first ever women's pay-per-view. I didn't think it was necessarily that much as decisions.
Well, it is an Evolve show. I want to say they're having it for their vacant title, and there's a ladder match, but it's Sunday. They should have ran this show last night. I got to work tomorrow. I don't feel like going out there till Lord knows what time and then driving home. And I don't know. I just want to be home, watch the show, lay it down. But, yeah, man. So let's get it started. I guess we can start with – hold on. Pull this card up here. Okay, so let's start it with the 6-woman tag. I have no idea why it's happening. They were individually targeting, I guess, Sasha and Bayley at different times, or just Bayley by herself and Natalya. I don't know, man. What you think about this match?
Are you trying to ask me what the story is, or do I think the match is going to be good? Because what story?
Yeah.
Like the closest thing they have a story is that the Riot Squad, they're getting pushed to like the mid card status of a division that never has a mid card, as a stable, and like they've been going back and forth with Sasha and Bayley for forever, and then they just recently did the Natalya thing, so it's kind of that makes sense, but. In retrospect, I would have thought it would have been better if they were just going to have them in the tag match, Sasha and Bayley against the Riot Squad, then have it as that, have whoever the third member of the Riot Squad that is the third person out, have them be on the side and have the babyface try to overcome that, and then have Natalya in Ronda's corner for the eventual Brie Bella cheat gimmick that they're going to run. Like I felt like they kind of did all of this work with Natalya to be on the side, be there, and then, be her friend, have her back, and then like just it's gone.
That's not the story we were told, James. Yeah, so they did all this good work of like legitimate building with Ronda and Natalya, and then took it out for that microwaved deal. And I guess we'll get to this when the Nikki Bella and Ronda thing goes. That microwave friendship they had for 2 months.
What I would say is this, right? Yes, would I rather see Ronda do something else at Evolution? Absolutely. Do I think that Nikki is trash or is undeserving given the fact that she just came back? I don't think she's trash, but I do have some concern about the fact that she's just coming back. Like that's just typical part-timing. That's part-time stuff, and we're not cool with the part-timing when it comes to the males either. Do I think that she's getting more shit because she's a woman? Absolutely. So I would just have liked to have it to where Natalya was there to have her back when Brie goes to eventually help cheat, and then you can excuse the fact that Natalya doesn't have a match on the first ever woman pay-per-view after she's been a good soldier and this bridge woman for so long between the generations, by having her basically, after all that's done, she crosses Ronda and then you move on, like at the end of the show. And you have your immediate storyline going into Monday.
Maybe that's what they do. Be like, yeah, you had all this, deal with the Bellas, and you didn't consult my help one time or whatever, something like that. I don't know, but it's just gonna literally Ronda's about to be Hulk Hogan. Like all her friends are going to turn on her, or the Junkyard Dog. All her friends eventually turn on her to fight her. But yeah, as far as the 6-woman tag goes, I'm just looking forward to what gear Sasha's gonna have on, because we're gonna. I feel like I can look up and down the lineup right now. I feel like I would bet money that Sasha Banks is gonna come through with the best gear.
I mean, there's contestants. I mean, there's Sasha, there's Naomi, there is Toni Storm. I'm trying to think who else would come to mind. Bayley, if she doesn't go too overboard. Who know? I mean, Charlotte, because Charlotte, when she does come out with some really cool stuff when it's a big show, but we'll see how she treats it as far as her dress.
Yeah, I don't know. Interested to see what Alicia pulls out the bag. She's always coming with something creative. Mickie James, she you never know, she's going to dip into her bag, her dress up bag.
Oh, you mean this? Oh, you mean when she came out there dresses, looking like a totem pole? What was that, WrestleMania? Was that WrestleMania just passed? Was that 2 years ago?
I think it might have been WrestleMania 33.
That's the one.
Yeah, she came out. I was like, what is this? Like, but I'm gonna go with Sasha, Bayley, and Natalya getting the win over the Riot Squad.
Got to.
Yeah.
Like, you think of it on like, if those three are getting that match because their storyline, we couldn't find anything for you, and you're the good soldiers, and you're the you look at the first Natalya and Charlotte match on the second takeover. You look at where they've gone with the Horsewoman from there. Like, those are three people that were at the forefront of this evolution. So give the crowd a smile, give the crowd something to be happy about. Give it to those three that those heels can lose. It's not going to affect them, and then you can move on you can move on from there.
Give the crowd something to be happy about, you say.
Good point. You raise a good point. You raise a very good point.
They'll fuck around and have Liv Morgan go over Sasha Banks with her finish. Like,
what is Liv Morgan's finish?
No idea.
What is okay?
Somebody put it in the comments. If you know what Liv Morgan's finish is, let us know.
You a real fan.
Yeah.
You a fan. Okay, so that's another one. What is Sarah Logan's finish? I feel like this one I've seen, I just don't remember it.
I have no idea what her finish is. It's probably a DDT or something. Yeah, man. I know Ruby has the riot kick, obviously, which kind of works. Hell, yeah. I have no idea what Sarah Logan's finish is, but I don't feel like we're going to see it either, so we don't have to worry much about that. So we've got, let me see if I can find a list of the competitors for the Battle Royal. Or can you find that? Actually, I got it right here. I got it. Okay. So the historic Women's Battle Royal is how it's listed on the wiki. So we've got Tamina, we've got Billie Kay, Peyton Royce, Ember Moon, Nia Jax, Dana Brooke, Asuka, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, Carmella, Lana, Naomi, Tori Wilson, Michelle McCool, Alundra Blaze, Ivory, Kelly, Maria Kanellis, Molly Holly, and Zelina Vega. And I'm sure there will be some type of surprises to pop up.
I mean, if you ask me if like who I want for a surprise, I would like it to be like, you know, some of the NXT women that they have flown to the event. So they could show up and like we can have Bianca Belair keep her undefeated streak going by having her win this and then be the number one contender come War Games 2.
Yeah, that'd be a nice option to go. You know, looking at the main roster women, like you got to look at Ember Moon. I feel like they've put her in this weird position lately. I don't know exactly why. I can see her being, you know, someone that can get a random title shot, maybe even on TV, like for how they've treated this thing.
Could you look at the list and tell me how many main roster women, like, do you count as people that could actually win this thing?
Okay, so I've got Ember Moon, Nia Jax, Asuka. That's it.
No Carmella, no Naomi.
No.
Okay.
I'd be shocked if one of those two won it.
Okay.
But I'm sure you know, Mrs. Undertaker is going to get her fair share of eliminations. Tori Wilson, not really excited to see her back. Ivory, kind of interested, a little bit of interest there. I know Molly Holly was good last time we saw her. Maria Kanellis, not really like here for the wrestling part of it. I don't know, man. Who's your favorite on this?
Yikes. I would be with the same people you mentioned. Like if there's no surprises, I would say like, you know, Ember, Nia, or Asuka. One of those three. Like, you know, if it were me, I'd have Asuka win and try to, you know, fix what I broke. But you know,
yeah. She's cooked, bro.
Yeah,
I've made peace with it.
Yeah. I'm still holding hope. Like just like I'm still out here holding on hope for Bayley, right? So
that's real fandom.
Yeah, true fan, real fan. I don't know, like maybe Beth Phoenix decides to pull a JBL and decides to rip off the gimmick from commentary and decide to get interactive. So
yes.
Look, I would pop for that.
I would too.
Look, have her throw Nia out again.
So let's go to some of the comments I got in the Facebook section. Simon was like, gonna have to judge this show by the Ryback rules. Take three things you like and appreciate it. And like those matches are the whole show. Brian Lee says mediocre card and build up. Also, Asuka is in a lame battle royal. Yeah, Stoneface. Simon says Liv Morgan's finish is the blue tongue of death. Sergio Parra says, I think Logan has the pop-up headbutt. Dre Sosa said, is Victoria coming back for this? I would say no, because they treat Victoria like she doesn't exist for whatever reason. Like, there are certain people that they do this with. And James, you weren't there yesterday. I was at breakfast with Josh and Jeremy. My thing was like, yo, there are certain people that they just act like don't exist, aside from like the obvious one, like China, right?
Right.
But why don't they ever talk about Pedro Morales ever?
I mean, I have some guesses of why they don't talk about Pedro Morales, but
like he held the WWE Championship for 2 years, almost 3.
Right.
Has held the Intercontinental title more days than anyone.
Right.
We never hear a peep. Like, it's like Bruno happened, Superstar Billy Graham and Backlund happened. And
they rarely talk about Backlund, aside from the fact that Backlund comes back from time to time.
Right. I don't know if a situation where he never came back. I actually meant to send this question into like Wrestling Observer, like try to like figure out why don't they ever talk about Pedro Morales? What happened? I'd love to know. Yeah, so up next, we got a tag team match. Now, this match wasn't supposed to be a tag team match. The final product isn't even what was supposed to happen. But it is Trish Stratus returning with her great theme music, which is one of the rare great theme musics for her time period.
Especially doing that, like, you know, early 2000s rap. Like, you could come out here sounding like Seth McMahon's music.
Yeah. I felt like it was those two songs that were there, and somehow Trish was able to get that one instead of Stephanie getting it.
Now, Stephanie probably decided to choose a music. She probably had the choice of picking both and decided to choose that one because you're like, it'll get heat because this is a bad one.
Maybe. But that rock and roll joint, that's where it's at. It's always been where it's at. Trish and Lita teaming up against Mickie James and Alicia Fox. So Alicia Fox obviously not supposed to be in the match like to begin with. We originally started this thing with Trish Stratus versus Alexa Bliss, which just boiled my bones on a million levels. They found out that, and it was a swerve the whole time because the story was that it was always supposed to be a tag team match, but obviously they didn't want to reveal their hand too early with Ronda Rousey and Nikki Bella, so they couldn't announce that, even though everyone knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Then, you know, they turned it to a tag team match with Alexa. Alexa, unfortunately, suffered an injury over the weekend in Boston, I believe. And this was her first match back from the last match she had with Rousey. I don't have this confirmed, but there is video out there of a hip toss or judo throw gone wrong where Alexa falls right on her damn head. And that, I guess that's what caused the concussion. James, did you see this?
Yeah, I saw it a few days ago, and I mean, we talked about it in the chat just maybe like an hour or so ago. But like, I saw it a few days ago, and paired it with the talk that like event that people thought there was like maybe a broken nose situation attached to it. I just was iffy on whether or not that was actually the spot where she got the concussion. Because obviously, who knows? And you know how concussions work. Like, you know, sometimes it's a trauma right then, and sometimes it's, you know, it's post, you know, later on you start getting concussion symptoms that show, and who knows. But you know, just luckily given the, you know, how scary the bump actually looked, that it was just a concussion as opposed to, you know, something involving her neck, because she could, like, that was some real stack of dimes type of situation. That's kind of the, you know, you have to be done because you have ruined your spine type of situation.
Right. And if you guys are watching this on YouTube, this is just a quality control check. Let me know if you guys can hear James, or on Facebook. Let me know if you can hear James, because I'm trying a couple things out here. Yeah, it's unfortunate Alexa can't compete. You know, we've never been the biggest Alexa Bliss fans on this show, but, you know, we don't ever wish it for anyone to get hurt or injured or anything like that. Yeah, but it looks like she's going to be in a managerial role. And Alicia Fox and Mickie James are in this match, and I feel like Alicia Fox is about to get beat. But the question about this match is not will Alicia Fox get beat, it is what will she wear.
Yeah, man.
What will the superstar wear?
I don't know. All I know is she dressed like somebody that's getting heat. She's not really getting heat. She's just crazy, right? You know, it's kind of weird with Alicia Fox because like every time they give her like the little 3-week push that they give her, she does pretty well with it, but they never ever decide to actually do something with it after they actually put her on TV. It's kind of weird. I wonder why that is.
Yeah, I've got a couple thoughts on that, but I'll save those for another day.
Okay. Are you gonna say that? Are you gonna say that for the what do you call it? We were talking about it in one of the groups. I can't remember which it was. Like if they basically did a diaspora all diaspora pay-per-view, it's just like, yeah, you know, we got somebody working a grill at the same time when the match is going on.
Yes, I think it was Rance came up with that whole idea or whatever, and he was talking about his card. I would love to book one myself, so maybe I'll drop that somewhere.
Couldn't even do commentary because couldn't even do commentary because Saxon and I can't say Saxon. Can't even do commentary because like Teddy Long and Booker T and 2B's trying to play spades instead of actually calling the matches.
Yes. Oh man, got the dominoes going. Look, got the dominoes going up against the and the dice going up against the guardrail.
Yeah, you know Saxon will know how to play spades. So
yeah. Let's see what else we got. Oh, then of course we've got the 2018 Mae Young Classic Tournament Final. Toni Storm against Io Shirai. We watched the whole Mae Young Classic. We were actually on the Implications show on Lords of Pain Radio. If you'd like to check that episode out, looks like it did pretty well, James. I was checking out the numbers and all that. But we talked all about, the tournament in full, our whole thoughts on, the best competitors, worst competitors, best matches. So that's a show you guys can go check out. Shirai and Storm, what are your expectations here, James?
Oh man, my expectations is for this to be some bit of a version of a big 205 live match back when they were still on Raw, where people are kind of. I think there'll be more people that know than the average Raw fan when it came to 205 Livers. However, like I still think they're going to start out, having to impress to get them over. But I think the wrestling will be so good that both people will get the match over.
Right.
So I think this will be the best wrestled match on the card. But like it depends how much time they get. Like if they can get 13 minutes, 15 minutes. Then this is gonna be this is gonna be the Steamboat Savage deal, right? But if they give it 8 minutes, 9 minutes, then like I think they'll still have a good match, but like it won't get the crowd fully over. I just think that if you're gonna have 7 matches on the card, you have to have something. And I heard that there's talks that Charlotte and Becky are gonna go 20-something minutes. Then this needs to be a match to be basically like the quote unquote mid card glue to hold it together. And I think they're more than capable of doing that. Like these are two of the best female wrestlers in the world.
Yeah, I think the magic number is about 12 to 13 minutes. Like that was like the longest Mae Young Classic matches. If they got that there, I think that's more than enough time for them to do their thing. Hopefully they don't get someone trying to agent their match to work a hold, use a chin lock, work the leg, all that stuff. Like and put the Queen of the Sky on the ground and shit like that. Like I'm not trying to see that. I'm trying to see Toni Storm, Io Shirai, leave it out here. I do think going into last year, there was a little bit more because we had a defined heel that was awesome. And I think that is missing from this. So, babyface match in Nassau Coliseum, the worst building in the country, some call it. And
as far as you mean like actually, that's actually the worst. It actually is the worst building on two fronts. Like it is notorious. It's like, it's one of those notoriously bad crowd. And also, like, people were talking about the Nassau Coliseum being shut down sometime. Like, it almost got shut down. And people were literally, like, pulling chairs out of the rows and taking them with them. So this isn't, you know, like for souvenirs. So like, yeah, this is so on two fronts. This is one of the worst stadiums in the arenas in the country. Absolutely.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be interesting. So I revealed my pick. I got Toni Storm going over here over Io Shirai. You know, I don't know if WWE is going to do the same thing they did last year, and you know that sucks to say that, but that's just a fact of, you know, the people we're dealing with here. But I think Toni Storm's a superstar. Concerned about her talking, but at this point, she doesn't really have to be a strong talker. So, who you got on this one, James?
Yeah, I'm still with Toni for the same reason. I think, or maybe for a different reason, but I just think. I think she's going to be the face of NXT UK, and as far as the women's perspective, so I think like she's going to be needed sooner and at a bigger spot than Shirai will, because I think Shirai is probably going to. I don't know if she's going to be like, you know, wrestling on NXT by the end of the year. So I think you kind of hold that off for at least a little bit, because I mean, unless. I need to know that like Shayna and Nikki Cross and whoever else are going to be moved on to the main roster.
Somebody got to get out of the way.
Yeah, like there's not enough room now, because right now like we're kind of in a nice spot on the NXT proper with the women right now, which means like somebody needs to be moved on to make room for Shirai.
Right, and you know when we say moved on, we're not saying. I like how you said that. It's not moved up.
Oh, wow.
It's moved on.
I didn't even think of it in that term, but yeah, sure, why not?
I kind of like that, you know, creating stuff and you ain't know it.
Like maybe it's a Freudian thing, I don't know, but you know, I would love. Okay, when would you do the Shayna Rousey thing? When would you do that? Or will you just move her to SmackDown and have her just basically, you know,
just start mauling
away from it?
I think you have to. Damn, it's gonna be more of Ronda's friends turning on her. Like, is Shayna Baszler gonna be Paul Orndorff? Like, why Ronda ain't returning my calls no more?
She's gonna be Paul Orndorff. Bitch, you dumb.
Comment from Dre Sosa. He said, "I want to go one-on-one with Toni Storm." You're not the only one, sir. I'm sure that sentiment is a common theme amongst these parts. Yeah, but yeah, whenever they do Shayna, I hope Shayna doesn't change. Like, I hope Shayna shows up as this mauler and this person she always is, and she's like, "Yo, Ronda, what the fuck is up?" Like,
yeah,
they rolled the red carpet out for you. They didn't give me shit. I had to go through, you know, the Indies. I had to go through NXT, you know, all this other stuff. So maybe I hold off on that.
Yeah,
like maybe you debut Shayna and let her win the Royal Rumble. I don't know.
Like, given what we know about, what we've always assumed about NXT with Vince, and also like what Triple H has kind of like stooged off to us, like imagine, right? All of a sudden, like 6-8 months from now, right? They're doing some type of contract signing, and Shayna's in, and they got Shayna dressed like Charlotte or Becky or any of the other women that look like they just came fresh from the club, and they always wearing leather pants. Like, can you imagine that if they did that with Shayna? That's how wrong that would be.
So I think Shayna was
that is not how she dresses at all, and that is not what she is. That's not how she dressed on NXT either. Yeah,
I think she would show up in the black jacket and like the cargo joints or whatever or something.
This is what I need. I don't need leather. Don't give me leather pants, Shayna, and high heels. Give me boot cut jeans. Give me boot cut jeans, Shayna. Okay, that's what I want. Okay. That's all I'm asking for.
So getting into that, transitioning, Shayna Baszler versus Kairi Sane for the NXT Women's Championship. These two have history, they have chemistry, and they have a dynamic that on this card, I don't think is anywhere else. You've got this plucky, fiery, angry babyface, like at times, who is just like the peak of goodness, essentially, going against a fucking bully, a mauler, a dangerous person. I'm going to love this match. I can tell. And if it's the last time these two fight for a while, I think they're going to want to top themselves. What they've done, and pretty much every time they've ever gone out there has been impressive. I don't think they've ever had that classic, but it's been good. I think this could be their chance for their classic.
Yeah, I agree too. And I think that I'm more confident this match will be. I'm not saying if I said, if what's likely to have the best match of the card, but if you ask me, like, what is most likely to be like, who has the highest floor, as opposed to the highest ceiling, I would say this match. You have Triple H, Triple H is going to be there. This is Triple H's women's match. I don't think Vince is going to sports entertainment this up, if you get what I'm saying. Like, I think there's more of a chance.
He's not going to monkey it up, James.
I think there's more of a chance. You stupid. I think there's more of a chance that Vince will try to quote unquote sabotage or cut short or do something wacky in the Mae Young Classic final than this match. So this is the match I'm most assured is going to be a banger on the entire card. I think Tony. It's not Tony. I'm sorry. I think that Kyrie wins, and I think that sooner or later, like around this time, this cycle, I think that we have Shayna graduate.
Yeah. They could do a title change and then have Shayna drop it the next show, but that'd be a lot of shuffling. So I'm going to go with Kairi Sane as well. But it seems like Kairi Sane gets the best of Shayna in all these big matches. So that is one big thing to pay attention to. I'm not ruling out Shayna, winning here, but just, the likelihood of how these things look like they are, tending to go. I don't think you're bringing up Kairi Sane anytime soon. Even though they should be thinking about that, like for around WrestleMania time, like they should be plotting on who's going to be the next one. And I got a couple ideas. How about you, James?
Yeah, like, all right, well, go give me one example when you think of right now.
Okay, one that they're clearly doing. I'm not necessarily excited about, but Lacey Evans.
Yeah.
And then you got to look at Bianca Belair, of course. Right. And they've got, I think there are other women that they have as far as heels. Those are the standouts. Nikki Cross, I feel like you got to get her. I don't know where she goes at this point. Yeah,
I think they need to finish up whatever they're doing with her and Bianca. I think they need to have a proper finish. And then after that, maybe you give her another title shot, except this time it's not Shayna, it's against Kyrie, and then you move on from there. Outside of that, I don't really think there's anything else for her to do in NXT right now, unless you're going to have her with Aleister Black. But that's about it. I mean, and given that we just had this heel turn with Johnny, like maybe that's the thing now. Like they find you something else to do to keep you down there, as opposed to have you go up to the main roster when there's bloated with a bunch of people that like aren't fresh, but also are people that have nothing else to do. So you're better off making use of these people that are already up there, as opposed to bringing more people to do nothing with.
Yeah, man, it's there's gonna have to be a change in the way NXT's run, because they're sitting on a lot of people, and I feel like a lot of people need to get promoted, especially like with the way things are broken on Monday Night Raw now. They need more talent. And then they're going to have to shuffle with SmackDown. And then we're getting into, obviously, next year with the TV deals. They're going to either have to say, hey, fuck it. Let's just empty this treasure chest we got going on right now. And we'll like leave NXT to figure it out, because ultimately this isn't the priority. But I think the problem is NXT has so much of the talent that's out there right now. Like if you look at the indie scene right now, the biggest guys are like Walter, Bandito, Jeff Cobb. They're not who they're going to be in Walter is, but a lot of the other stars, like if you look at Evolve, they're not who they're going to be like a year and a half from now. So, and we know what NXT is and what it leans on.
Yeah.
So they got to figure something out. But moving on. the SmackDown Women's Championship, the last woman standing match between Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair.
Wait,
Becky
what did you
was
call
on
that match?
The last woman standing match.
No, before then.
The SmackDown Women's Championship match?
Nah, bro. Like, call it what you were calling earlier, like a couple episodes ago.
So, for the WWE Championship.
Thank you.
Becky Lynch defends the title against Charlotte. Now, do they want Charlotte to be a 9-time champion? Just keep putting the belt on her a million times and making none of these reigns mean a damn thing. We can't rule it out. We know these people. Becky Lynch has been the peak of herself since this whole Charlotte feud has gone down. Do you want to throw that in the trash? Do you want to take a good look at how much this woman is connected with the audience? Even though y'all try to work so hard and get her booed, it's not working. But what is working is just Becky. People love her. I hope that they don't cut this off right now.
Yeah, I mean, and then you also throw in like the logistics of the schedule, and you think about if they were to do a best of 7 type of series like how they did at SummerSlam last year, and I thought that pay-per-view was so well done until the main event when Triple H did. When you have champion versus champion, mid-card champion versus mid-card champion, and women's champion versus women's champion, like, if your big money match for Ronda is eventually to get to Charlotte and Ronda, then Becky needs to win this match. And so you can have Becky basically be more or less cannon fodder, or somebody you could trust you put on a good match with Ronda, because Ronda is now your top person in the company. So for me, however they need to do it or whatever else, hook or crook, it's probably going to be by crook because she already got her clean win and she's the heel. Becky needs to win this match and then move on to Rousey and then tend to whatever else they come up with as far as a challenger after Charlotte, and Charlotte can move on to something else on the card. Because, I mean, I don't know. Like, I would say this, though. Regardless of who wins, I don't know. I mean, well, Charlotte, obviously, if Charlotte wins, she clearly has to wrestle Becky one more time. But, like, once this feud is over, whoever's champion, I don't know what they do. I don't know what Charlotte does from this point forward after this is over.
Right.
I don't know. I don't have an idea. Like, what should you do? Feud of the Iconics?
Yeah, Iconics or like Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. Like, not here for it, Chief. I think that's where you get the Asuka thing. I think that's where you maybe get a call up to SmackDown.
Charlotte versus Shayna would be awesome.
Who?
Charlotte versus Shayna would be awesome.
Yeah, she would have to do that JOB to Shayna though. like they bring out Shayna Baszler off rip and then just have her lose to the natural selection. I'm gonna be fucking hot. Like,
you know what that would sound like? You know what that would sound just like?
What?
That would be just like if, like, in his first pay-per-view in the company, like on the main roster, if Kevin Owens had lost to Cena instead. Like, look, you can lose the feud, but she has to win the first match. She just has to. You have to legitimize this person to these new people. You have to.
I think that's a good idea. Like, if you get Charlotte to Tuesday's TV, right, and then she comes out and cuts a promo about being all sad and all that, and then Shayna jumps out on her and chokes her out, like, you thought it was a wrap, huh? Like, and then you do Charlotte and Shayna as like your secondary feud. Maybe you heat Asuka back up and give Asuka and Becky Lynch a run after the whole damn.
I mean, I would say this though, right? If Becky wins, there's still some time where you don't have to worry about Becky having a TV program because she can just run down, because Ronda and Becky can go back and forth on promos and they can't ever touch each other because they're on different shows. So you can do that where they're basically running down each other. And it's only like 3 weeks from now is when when Survivor Series is. So in theory, you just have them talk shit back and forth, which is the best thing Becky does anyway right now. Like, as far as getting herself over is her talking ability. So we have them run each other down, then they have to run it at Survivor Series, and then you worry about a babyface challenger at that point.
I think you can do Naomi as a TV challenger between then. Like,
you think you need it though?
What's up?
Do you think you actually need her in the ring though, Becky?
Yes.
For the next 3 weeks.
I think to give Becky another defense, sure, just do it on TV. Because I don't know if that's a pay-per-view program. And this whole time you can be rebuilding Asuka away from, all of them. Just let her maul whoever, or let her win the Battle Royal. And then she keeps that on the tuck.
Gotcha.
So, and maybe she gets a match at the Royal Rumble for the belt, like Becky and Asuka or something like that. But, yeah, man. So, as far as the match, the last man standing, not really my favorite stipulation. We've seen several of them this year. We've seen Nakamura and AJ. We've seen Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. And now this is going to be the next one. And it's like, okay, there's a lot of standing around. These two, they've had a count out. They've had a disqualification. Do you think they got it right here? Should they have gone with something like a steel cage? Do you think they could have gone with, if it was me, it would be an I Quit match, but maybe they don't want to tap Charlotte out?
A submission, maybe not I Quit, just do a submission match, which is pretty much everybody thinks the same thing anyway. I'm okay with it. You talked about how you're just over the last person standing match, and I'm just like, okay, so you just named one of the on the main roster, the Nakamura AJ match. That's one of the 10 best matches on the main roster this year. The last man standing match, right? Then you mentioned the last Johnny and Dude match out of that trilogy or whatever, and that match is also one of the best 20 matches on NXT this year. So I understand it isn't a work rate match at all. But it is very much a high floor match. And
you can't fuck this up, but it's just
I get you. I'm just saying, look, all I'm saying is if you're going to ensure me a match that is going to most likely enjoy, I'm going to take all the layups I can out of WWE that they're willing to give me. That's it. Because you can't trust them for shit. So if they're going to say look, we are more or less guaranteed to you that these two are going to have a good match. Thank you. I will take that. Please, I will put it in my pocket, and I will thank you, and I will not criticize that, because I don't know the next time you're going to give me another good match. If you want your great matches or great matches in WWE this year, you are looking on the network and not so much on the main roster. So that's where I'm at with that one.
Yeah, I'm with the champ. So Becky Lynch, whoop that ass.
Yeah. I am going to pick Becky. Just for the fact that I think that the Charlotte, you don't want to mess around with the Charlotte and Ronda thing right now. Unless you're going to tell me that they're not going to do what they did last year with Survivor Series, and that Charlotte needs a new contender. All I'm saying is either give me Charlotte, Shayna, or keep Becky as a champion, because you have nothing else better than that.
Yeah. Shayna Baszler is going to be the Samoa Joe of the women's division.
Probably, yeah. Probably.
Hopefully she actually gets to win sometimes, though. So the last match, presumed main event, Ronda Rousey versus Nikki Bella. We talked at length on the Lords of Pain show about how they built this thing up. And, this is the match, the diva versus the real athlete. If you're doing this story, Ronda's not my first person to, do it with here. As far as the real athlete thing, because I don't think that's the point of contention for the diva thing. The diva thing is hey, we got all these great wrestlers that basically pulled us out of this shit. And that would be one of the 4 horsewomen that I would run that with. But we don't always get what we want. So, shouts out to Dre. Dre Celsi said, thank y'all for this show. It's getting them through work. No problem, man. We are here for the entertainment.
Yeah. Hit us up on Venmo or something, or the Cash App. No,
Cash App. You know, right? Yeah.
Like how much do you really appreciate it? Like,
but yeah, man, they took the you slept with John Cena route, blah blah blah, and it got people excited. As sad as that route was, but what are you expecting here, James? And what do you think of this overall build and all that? And was this the right match?
From their perspective, I can see why they made the match. It's a match that should have been done. I think this is more of a WrestleMania match type of match than a first ever women's pay-per-view match. I think the thing that people are kind of losing sight of when it comes to the reason why they turned around and why people are so into the evolution and the horsewomen was and was the fact that, like, not only were they just starting to have good matches, it was that they came out of nowhere from we were for years led to believe that they can only wrestle at a certain level to them having the best matches on the best cards of the year. Like, people forget that, like, Finn Balor, while he was probably the biggest draw in this era, in the network era of NXT history ever, that he never had the best match on the takeover. It was always the women. It was always the women. And I think we've kind of lost sight of that. Like, we've more or less talked about X, Y, and Z don't deserve A, B, or C because people are playing favorites or whatever else, as opposed to losing sight of, like, the main thing about this thing was the fact that, like, they were having kick-ass matches. And look, no knock against Nikki, no knock against Ronda. Ronda's really young. Ronda's new to the game. She's green. And Nikki is somebody that's been out of wrestling for a while. If you had told me just from that perspective, would this be the right match for the main event of the first ever all women's pay-per-view, my answer would be no, because of that reason. But we're past that. Their build, I found the build to be tasteless, but for the people that needed to be hooked in on this match because they were stuck on picking favorites of whatever else, this, it got a lot of them, and it got the main watching viewership to really be in on this. So from that perspective, they did a good job. And I've heard they've been, I heard they've been practicing, right? They've been treating this thing with the proper, they've been going about it the right way as far as the match. So I think the match is going to be at the least good. So if they give me a good match and they did a good build for getting the people that they wanted to do, I found it wasn't for me. So, so yeah, sure. Why not? I'm excited to see the match at this point, just in the match. Like, the build was whack, but I'm here for the match at least. Like, and if you had told me, actually not, you told me, if you remember the time when we first started this thing, when we first heard the news that it's happened, like around SummerSlam time, that, like, this is gonna be the match. If you told me, like, then that I would feel the way I feel now about actually wanting to see this match, supposed to this is fucking bullshit, then, like, and if that's the case, then it's a success, right? To some extent.
I still think it's bullshit to a lot of degree, because I don't know, I'm not here for, like, it's clearly not for me. Like, and I look at these things, and obviously looking at Sasha in that 6-man or 6-woman match infuriates me, right? And seeing them get passed over for this Nikki Bella stuff, it's like, okay. And I've always I've liked Nikki Bella a lot.
I know. It was a weird point where we got to a point where, like, when in the middle of Alexa's reign of terror of having these piss poor matches, or not piss poor matches, these mediocre matches on pay-per-view, like, he was like, she's just the worst. Like, dude, you don't understand. Like, she's basically just Nikki Bella, except less believable because she's smaller than Nikki. And then we went back and forth. It's like, you look at, just like, you go back over and you're like, oh my God, actually, Nikki is more or less just a more believable Alexa Bliss. That's not as nearly good promo, but still, nonetheless, like, there's a person that is, quote unquote, getting heat for not being deemed good enough or tough enough or believable enough, and we're going to shove it in your face how much that is how much that like clear fact is an annoyance to you. So but yeah, like we do have to give her some amount of credit for sitting there and being willing to deal with what they put on her, because like that is something that they should ask nobody. They should ask nobody to be tasked with. Of we're going to go through your personal life and make it and bring all the mess out in front of the world to see. Like, so I kind of my heart kind of goes out for her in that situation.
She's done that with the reality show too. So I don't know. I've never really believed like the thing, like as far as what how popular the reality show is, right? Mm-hmm. And you see the demographics come and go. You see the total Divas viewership like collapsing by the season, essentially. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like they pick people. You know the phrase we got. They pick dudes for this shit. And I feel like that's what this was a case of. Like,
yeah. Like, absolutely. Like, Nikki is absolutely somebody that was picked, but I guess what I'm saying is you look at the demographic of their fan base and how much of that is has to do with the reality shows. Like, we can't just dismiss it as like Nikki does not matter at all. Like, granted, I would rather have someone in this position, but it's WWE, and WWE would have absolutely done this with the men. So I can't really be like, this is only because of X, Y, and Z. It's like, nah, they would have done the same thing. Like, that's the reason why, like, never mind. I'm not going to go that route. But yeah, like, she's one of the handpicked chosen from the last 5 years of WWE. And that's absolutely without dispute. But like, this is a match that was worthy of being at a big spot where if this had been a SummerSlam match. That's another thing. If this had been a WrestleMania match or a SummerSlam match, would this have bothered you less than the fact that it's like the main event of the Ultimate pay-per-view? Or do you think that would even if it's not you, do you think that would have calmed down some of the people that were just in hysterics over the fact that it's her in this spot again?
I don't know. Because I'm not sure if that would have calmed people down, because the way it looks, it's like they're of equal value. It feels like you're gonna get the main event of the first ever women's pay-per-view, or you get the WrestleMania title match. They're at the same level.
Okay, so all right. I just thought that, like, if they were everyone in my mind, I think, like, just before it never crossed my mind, but like, if you had told me to think about it, say Nikki's gonna come back, like, one Nikki's neck is gonna be okay for her to come back, right? And then they're gonna put her in a match with Ronda. Where do you think that match will happen for WWE? My answer would be like a SummerSlam or WrestleMania. Yeah,
that's where you would think.
Yeah,
but yeah, are we ruling out the fact that are we ruling out a Nikki Bella win here completely?
I think there's a non-zero chance that she becomes champion, but I think at the same time, like, it's so low. Like, I'm gonna say 5%. There's a 5% chance she becomes champion because she has Brie in her corner. They can always cheat. So,
and like, they could always like just start a faction out of nowhere that Ronda has to mow through before she gets back to Nikki at WrestleMania.
And they, like, for some reason, like, they love to act as if, like, the first or last title reigns are the most important reigns. Like, they love to just be like, oh, the next reign is the most important reign, and then, like, they just, it gets less diminishing returns. They wonder why. Like, they don't treasure people getting their first title runs, but they tend to, but they don't, and they don't really, make room for people to have their last title run either. Like, they always just like the next one. So, that's also another thing to be dangerous of. But you gotta have to turn off that the booking brain to the proper booking brain to think how Vince thinks. Like, I thought earlier, this is a sidebar, sorry about that, but I was thinking earlier yesterday that like, what will be the chance that Vince is doing the, we gotta have a certain number of heels win and a certain number of baby faces win, just like he does on every pay-per-view card. And then his logic is we're gonna have Charlotte win that'll be we're gonna have Charlotte win because we need to give the crowd something to cheer for, even though the crowd is going to boo it.
Yep.
The second it happens, because he doesn't know no damn better, because in his mind, that's how it works. It's not like he doesn't listen to the crowd like that. So
Jordan Fox actually left a comment and said, I don't think as many people would hate on the match if it was at WrestleMania, because it wouldn't be in a main event spot. It would be 3 matches from the top. Now, with the Roman Reigns thing, that might not be the case anymore, Jordan. I'm not advocating for Ronda Rousey to be in the main event of WrestleMania because I just don't think she's there. But that doesn't mean they won't do it.
Okay. So maybe it's just amongst us, right? Maybe it's just amongst us, the super wrestling nerd or whatever else. But given the number of talented women we now have in the company or in the main roster, you kind of look at the women's slots on the shows and the singles matches or whatever at WrestleMania as the women's main events, because there are no mid-card women's matches. So, it was a great deal of frustration, the fact that it was Nia and Alexa in the Raw slot last year, as opposed to getting Sasha Banks in some form or capacity. She's in this pre-show deal, this pre-show crap, or Bayley in this pre-show crap. That was talked about. So I don't know if he has a point. Yes, he's right about that, but there are still people that are going to be annoyed about that situation of, look, there's only so many slots because they have a quota on women's angles. So that woman's angle is more or less almost a de facto main event, because if you want to see this person with vagina that is a great wrestler, they have just as hard of a hill to climb as someone that's not Roman Reigns trying to get to the main event of WrestleMania, or not someone that didn't wrestle for the company 20 years ago as well.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, like I said, I've decided to watch the show live, so I will be on Twitter interacting and talking about the good moments, the bad ones, and how great Sasha Banks' gear is. So, yeah. But what are your overall impressions on the show? What are you expecting, James?
I'm expecting it to be. I'm expecting it to be as good as the recent spat of pay-per-views have been, which has been some of the best pay-per-views of the year, which are more or less just saying they're good to pretty damn good. So that's where I'm at. I expect a pretty good pay-per-view.
So a comment from Dre, he says he hated the build-up because of Brie. I've grown to love Brie as a fan favorite to die to Daniel Bryan. Now she's being pulled into her sister's bullshit. It's damn, I can't see her as a heel again. I guess, he's saying the Daniel Bryan thing made Brie a face to him, and then it's just weird that she's a heel again now, just out of nowhere.
Well, think about their last run in the end of it. What happened? Brie was a baby face. She quit because her husband was basically being extorted into handing over the belt. She shows up to support her sister in these matches. Stephanie is putting Nikki in these handicap matches, whooping her ass week after week after week. She, the back and forth between the slaps, the arrest, the reinstatement for the match, the void charges being pressed at with Stephanie, and they had the match at SummerSlam, and then Nikki turns on her sister. We never ever got them. Do we even get a match?
I believe we did get a match, and it sucked.
Okay, yeah, that's right. We got a match. Brie lost, so Brie had to be her Virgil for 30 days, and the 30 days have now turned into 4 years, right? So
she had to be her slave.
So then they made Nikki the champion, and she was always just her tag along for the time being for Heat. And then, she retired, or she left, and then she had a child. She came back. She was immediately with Bryan again. for the Maurice mixed tag thing, and she was a babyface again. And now that Nikki can't call her back, it's time to be evil again.
Yeah. They'll just turn people on a whim. They don't really care. Like sorry, Dre. Like they don't really care. Like you would think that she would, because I remember
you would think she would know right from wrong. You would think she would know right from wrong by head. Yeah. But no,
her husband is.
Yeah.
But I remember during the the Daniel Bryan retirement, it was like, wow, the way Brie Bella sounded like she about to get Miss Elizabeth level respect in these streets. All it took for that to go out the window was send them back out there as the Bella twins, and all that shit was out the window. From the botches, from the concussion with Liv Morgan, all that shit was out the window.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I remember correctly, because the botch mode situation, like that all happened before they even turned heel. So yeah, you're right. Absolutely right.
Yeah. Johnny Gargano turned heel, James. This is your guy. Your hero. He is now Johnny Evil.
So
explain.
Okay, so we all knew this was a huge possibility once they did the angle where once they started the whole whodunit crime mystery clue shit, right?
He walked out of the joint on the first time they ever showed anything, looking angry, looking like an angry short man.
Yes. So this is what they decided to do. I will say that I would rather see heel Johnny Gargano than, and I've heard that he's been great. He's a better heel than his babyface. I don't know how that's possible. But then again, I saw Daniel Bryan's 2012 run, so anything's possible. Or late 2011, 2012 run. So I would, if the options were either you turn heel or we're sending you to the main roster 205 Live from not from his perspective, because obviously he wants to go get that money, but that tour money. But from the perspective of what would he be doing that's more interesting, and what do I think is more impactful, and where I think he'd be doing his best work or better work, I think he's better. I think it was best for him to stay in NXT. So from that perspective, I'm okay with it, because it was the lesser of three evils, basically.
And if he stays in NXT, and I actually had a conversation with someone last week about this, and you got that new crop of guys coming, like Matt Riddle, Keith Lee, all those dudes. You either get slotted under them, because surely like NXT is always about the new toy, essentially, right, or you can turn and fight all of them.
Right.
So
and also
that Bret Hart situation where Vince McMahon was like, "I got two lists," and then he hands him the list like it's a turn heel, and you see he gets to fight Shawn, The Undertaker, Austin, and then if he's a babyface, he gets to fight Vader, Sid, like all these other matches. So Bret was like, "Fuck it, I'll turn," and I think it's a similar situation here with Gargano.
Yeah. And also there's another thing is like, there is something like, granted, now that we have our trilogy with Gargano and Dude, like you look for like what's the next huge like heated thing between people that could possibly like that fits the Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn archetype, that fits what we just had with Gargano and Dude. The next one is Riddle and Gargano. Like they were so close and Evolve and all that kind of stuff. There's footage of them talking about it. Like, Gabe Sapolsky, and he kind of get more or less, is consulting with WWE and NXT in particular. Like they have access to that kind of to that library, or they bought the library already or whatever. One of those two things is the situation. So, like, there's a story there for Riddle, who is, we expect to be the man in NXT in the next year, over the next year.
Yeah, he's going to have to fight, eventually, the heel DIY.
Yeah. So like with that story, they're like, for a takeover, Riddle versus Gargano, that'd be big time. Like
my stars.
Right. My only real issue with it is the fact that they did a booking no, or even a TV show no, which is you have a strong you have a top antagonist already built and established. You already have, and then you decide with your top protagonist in the show, you decide to turn him evil when it's like that's backwards. That's hustling backwards.
Like you don't throw away how big of a babyface he was, and I think it was a situation where they got caught by the calendar and Gargano, and Ciampa being injured, because if the angle starts with them, doing their revenge angles, right, you can get Gargano the championship at some point rather than having to put it on Ciampa at some point.
Right. I mean,
yeah. And now you got the weird thing of how does Johnny get the NXT title now, and how does he do it as a heel?
And the better story would have been if Johnny had won the last match, had been a champion, riding high, everybody's really, really happy, and then like he's pretending like he's still a good guy.
And he did some fuck shit.
He was still having these matches where he was like, I got to get back to Johnny Wrestling when he's already an evil motherfucker. So he duped us on that end. Imagine how pissed people would be if he was a champion. We were all happy for him. And then the same thing happens where Alistair shows up and was like, this motherfucker took me out so that he could selfishly take this spot. And I'm coming for him. Yeah. People would have been so mad at Johnny. He'd be like, you let us all down. Now it's like, oh, you let us all down and you're a loser.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I think that would have been a really awesome way to do it. I think
it would have been a perfect fall from grace. It would have been like when John Cena when CM Punk laid out John Cena and Rock at the end of Raw 1000. Except like it would have been a long form situation where it's like, dude, you mean to tell me like you were so obsessed with this belt and everything, like you turn it back on the fans, you turn it back on everything. Like, dude, I'm not mind, I'm like booking it better, but like it's still gonna be great, but like it could have been even more. And that's
it could have been more. You know why I think they got stuck there? Because, and this is a testament to Ciampa, he's been so excellent as a heel. Yeah. I guess they felt like they couldn't pull out of it or whatever.
Yeah.
So
what do you think is gonna be the match? What do you think is gonna be the title match? Now that like obviously is, I mean.
You got Velveteen Dream involved. There's probably going to be like some multi-man match or something.
Okay, so we Ono's not going to be on TakeOver unless he's wrestling Riddle, right?
That's what I would believe, yeah.
Okay, we're assuming that like Alistair has to go through Johnny to get his title back, right?
Right.
Okay, so I mean, there also are the other suspects that were in the ring as it happened when they did all that to tell the story. But like, there's also there's dude that has the belt and he has to fight a babyface. So like, Lars is coming at the title, but I think that's really a stepping stone for Velveteen. Like, I think we're gonna end up with Velveteen and Dude.
I mean, that could happen. I think it's a situation where maybe they do like a multi-man match and then they just flip the title off of Ciampa to whoever they really want to get it on. Like maybe even Gargano right now.
So you think they're going to do a 5-way?
Yes.
On the same show that's going to have
War Games?
It's going to have War Games. You think they're going to do that?
Well, they'll also have the women's belt. They'll also have the tag team title. Right. Actually, they won't have the tag team titles because that's going to be in the War Games.
Oh, that's right. So, okay. So
they'll have Matt Riddle. They'll have the women's title. They'll have those two matches, the War Games, and then the title match, and they could come up with one more.
Okay. So is there any possibility, right, that they do War Games match, NXT title 5-way?
Yep.
Women's title match, Riddle Ono, and then we actually get a clean finish for Dunn and Ricochet. Any chance we get that?
I don't know. I think you're onto something with Dunn. Maybe you do a UK title defense. As the
So you think Ricochet's going to be thrown in with the Undisputed for the War Games?
I think so. So who knows what they're going to do, but it should be interesting. James, last thing I want to talk about today. WWE took their ass to Saudi Arabia anyway. I'm not shocked in any shape, form, or fashion that they were going to honor their contractual obligations. This is like awful on so many levels. This is a company that pushes themselves as these humanitarians. They push themselves as these philanthropists.
They push themselves as progressive. Meanwhile, like they're in the pocket of a regressive regime.
And when they reveal themselves to be who they really are, which are carnies here trying to make a fucking quick buck. Like, Vince McMahon trying to make a quick buck, like always, will sell the shirt off your own back to someone else and so they figure it out.
Yeah.
Are you shocked at all, James? Like, did you think for a moment they were going to be like, well, they could move it? Or is this just like, yeah, man, they was always going to do this shit. This was a cover-up this whole time when they've been not saying the name and everything like that.
Oh, nah, bro, the block was just hot. Like, that's the whole thing. Like, I mean, we've done how many shows where we've talked about Saudi Arabia?
Several.
And every single time I think I've said to you, like, I expect them to go. And the only reason why they won't go is because someone told them not to go. It won't be because they all of a sudden looked up and seen the light. Like, nah, man, they looked up and saw the light, and the light was green. It was money raining down on them. It was the Okada Bucks. They did it for the Okada Bucks, Rich.
Yes, money be green, as they say. You know, in the words of D'Angelo Barksdale, money be green.
Yeah.
So, I'm not shocked at all. I'm not like planning to watch the show. Definitely not live. I'm at work anyway. And it's going to be a real conflict of interest there for me. It's just like, I really think they shouldn't be involved with this thing. But if there's something that's like, hey, Rich, this was an all-time great thing that happened on this show, I'll go back and check it out. But as far as like just actively paying attention to it, I'm about to treat that man or treat that show like we do that guy that shows up in red hats that used to make great music and just not mention it.
Oh, God. Yeah. So I'm not going to watch it live because obviously I won't have time to, but I'm still going to watch the show because like it is we're going to have a new Universal Champion. We're also
So
going
we think.
Huh?
So we think.
What, you think they're going to do a draw? They're going to Broadway?
do a 10 count, a double DQ finish, interference, have somebody run in and get a DQ.
You know, I would say
on deck, sir.
I would say that that's ridiculous, but in the last pay-per-view, they literally did a double down in no contest on a Hell in a Cell match. So, you know, anything's possible.
Yeah, I feel like I don't feel like we're gonna get a championship change right now.
You think what are you gonna do? You think they're gonna run back the you think they're gonna run back the 98 Survivor Series Deadly Games?
Deadly Game. That's how they used to sing that shit. Look, why not? Look, they already got a turn. Look, we lucky that they didn't put it on whoever wins the tournament to become the best in the world and say the winner of that, you get to fight Strowman and Lesnar at Survivor Series.
Ugh.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm not shocked at all, but I don't really have too much more. James, did you have anything we need to touch on here today before we roll out?
Like, when will we know, like, for sure, the Daniel Bryan situation? Because we've heard that, like, Cena's out. But when are we gonna find out for sure? Do you think Tuesdays when we'll find out for sure? Like after SmackDown, we'll be like, oh my God, the Miz just laid out Daniel Bryan, or someone has laid out Daniel Bryan, and we don't know. I guess that means Miz gets the title shot, and then we'll throw some jabron out into the to replace him on the Mae Young Classic, the World Cup to determine the best in the world, and had that person obviously be American.
Oh man, I would think it would be Tuesday. And
okay,
shouts out to Daniel Bryan for finding another way where they cannot punish you if you don't go. What's the worst they're gonna do? Fire you?
Well, is there a way that they can basically be like, they key-shine him, more or less, conduct detrimental to the team, and then they, put you on ice for the rest of put him on ice for the rest of his life?
So no. So the key to that would be if they did that, right? We would all know it's wrong. And WWE is not in the business of looking wrong.
I'm sorry?
WWE is not in the business of looking wrong as much as they can help when it comes to one of their talents or something like that. That's why they didn't have Stephanie McMahon go back at AJ Lee when AJ Lee basically crossed him in public. Like, this is a situation where it'd be like, all right, I can't blame Daniel Bryan for wanting to go over there because, A, Daniel Bryan can spin it like, I don't feel safe. I think it's, bad from a human rights perspective. Like, WWE can't come out and say, well, no. Like, if that...
Okay, so you say that, but meanwhile, the reason why he re-signed was because, they led him to believe that, his contract didn't actually roll over, even though it clearly did. What
I'm saying is he got a free one. Like, he has a pass on this.
Okay.
Like, they can't do nothing to him. If he, I want to, I don't want to go.
Yeah, he hasn't checkmated. He hasn't, he has big face Joker. I get that part, but I'm just saying, the reason you said because they don't want to look bad when it comes to talent is when have they ever given a fuck about talent? They make sure nobody's ever a star so that nobody can ever get that big to where they can do this to them. Who else could have told them no besides John Cena or somebody or Brock Lesnar or somebody else that they have to pay gigantic money to, or somebody that they bring back in hopes of bringing in nostalgia.
I think that's it. The Rock or something like.
I think Roman. Okay, I think Roman has been in a lot of positions where he could have told them no at different points.
He just never did. That's the reason why Roman had a losing record on pay-per-view last year. That's fucking stupid. He's your top guy. Why does he have a losing record on pay-per-view? What kind of backwards booking shit is this? You know why?
Well, we know why, but it's still stupid.
Yeah.
We want you to be the top guy in this wrestling promotion. And the order for us to do that is we're going to make sure, Rich, watch me zoom in on the camera. You're going to do that by making sure that you don't win matches on the biggest shows. That's fucking.
We're gonna make sure that you don't win too much because then people would think you're being handed everything. That's why this man had a losing record, James. Unbelievable. I think Daniel Bryan has him checkmated, and Daniel Bryan, for me, if he never wins the belt again, it's okay. It's not going to be, there's no way they can ever top the greatest story we've ever seen in our lives with them. At this point, this man he's you ever hear about the Doors and Jim Morrison where they was all right, well, you can't say, girl, you couldn't get much higher on the air on the Ed Sullivan show. And they do it anyway, right? And they're like, you'll never do the Ed Sullivan show again. Man, I already did the Ed Sullivan show. The thing with Daniel Bryan for me now is man, he already main evented your WrestleMania. He already won your belt or whatever. You can't ever take it from him. And I think that's what CM Punk goes for. So, he doesn't get a WWE title match in Saudi Arabia, so what?
Yeah, that is one way to look at it. It's just I really wonder what the machination what are the machinations in place in case it actually is true. And I wonder how they're going to make this, make this work, because it's always, now they have to figure out how to get around the fact that the fact that there's schemery, going on. And you kind of, it's kind of a bad look for Daniel Bryan to be the only person on the main roster full time that's nah, I ain't going. And then everybody else that also doesn't want to go, doesn't go. Because obviously this could backfire and be a clear screw you, you're not winning the 96 Royal Rumble, or sorry, the 96 King of the Ring. this could be a situation where it's like, look, well, we know we can't, like Diesel and Razor, they're leaving, so we can't punish them. Sean's the top guy. We're never punishing him. So like, you're gonna have to eat the shit now, Triple H. Like whoever was the person also thought like maybe I should do this. Maybe they looked at the history, was like, nope, they'll punish me. They won't punish Daniel Bryan.
Yeah. And even if they did punish Daniel Bryan, all that's going to do is make Daniel Bryan more popular and just get fans. And it'll be it'll be the lightning rod that he would need at this point to get people like rallied up around him again. I told Josh and Jeremy this. I was like, they're like, this is the only thing we can hope for is that they do punish him, because if they do, people ain't gonna have that shit. So they might as well just say, hey, Daniel, we understand. That's why I feel like he has him checkmated. It's like, do they want to inadvertently restart the Yes Movement again? Probably not.
Well, yeah, you got a point there, but like, just to go back to talk about like, WWE doesn't really want to punish their talent or whatever. Remember when Vince suspended Titus O'Neil 3 months for literally like for being playful with him or whatever else, and then the word got bad. People thought it was ridiculous. And what did they do? Fine, 2 months.
Yeah. Oh man, but that's gonna wrap up the show. Thank you guys for watching live in the Wrestling Square Circle Facebook group, as well as here if you're watching this on YouTube. I will get this on the feed as soon as I can download it and get it up there. Hope you guys enjoy the show. Make sure you guys check us out on the Implications show on Lords of Pain Radio. So we did like 3 shows last week, or in this like week, James.
Hey, post show. Maybe not a podcast, but like on the YouTube, not the YouTube, but in the feed inside of Social Suplex. Yeah, I'm sorry, the Wrestling Square Circle.
We might be able to swing that. So yeah, we'll figure that out. If you guys, are locked in the Evolution show tonight and it goes and something major happens, like if it's just, run of the mill, I don't know, but if something major happens, yeah, we can swing that. Make sure you check out the rest of the shows on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. You got Keeping It Strong Style with Jeremy and Josh. You have The Outsider's Edge. You have the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show and Grown Men Watch This Shit. And then check us out over on the Lords of Pain Radio Network, where we come to you with the Raw and SmackDown reviews. Every week we crown the LeBron James U-Bum of the Week, as well as our Wrestler of the Week, which we haven't named for whatever reason, but eventually we will.
The way it's going is going to be in the Rebecca Lynch the Wrestler of the Week, the way it's going.
Yeah, man. And check out like all the other great shows on the LOP Radio Network as well. I don't have my notes in front of me, but yeah, James, anything before we roll up out of here?
Nothing, man. Like, I felt like this was a good discussion, and I'm still like, even while going through and thinking about all the potential pitfalls that happen with this match, this card, I'm still excited for it. So like, obviously that means it's doomed, right?
It could be. But that's gonna wrap up the show. Thank you guys for fucking with us today. Social Suplex. Yeah, you see James with the custom One Nation shirt on from a couple years ago. Is that right?
It's like, yeah, I got this as a birthday gift from like Marcus and Sarah in like 2011, 2009, something like that.
Yeah, so maybe we can figure something out. Start manufacturing, But that's gonna wrap up the show. We are up out of here. Peace.
Later.
Thank you for listening to One Nation Radio. We'll see you next time.